do that for you. So this is John Klebnik, and I'm going to try to cover today two things: lookups in ACT, how do I find things, and e-marketing. So this is the last of our webinar series on this, and we're going to cover both topics. So the first part of this is we want to make sure that we're able to look something up. And so looking up might mean looking up people from Texas, people from California, looking up customers, looking up prospects, looking up those who have not been contacted in a while. So all of that kind of stuff. Hold on while I start up my virtual machine here. So first we log into the database, then we do our lookups. Anytime I record one of these, it's always a little bit bumpy getting started, which is probably why I don't record more of them. But sorry about that. We'll be going in just a second here. Start up a couple of machines. All right, here we go. So when I do lookups, there's a couple of things that we usually kind of think about first. People traditionally are used to using the lookup menu at the top. So up at the top where you can see, here's my lookup menu. And I might see lookup last name, lookup first name, lookup city, lookup state from that menu. There is also there we go, look up my record, look up all contacts and things. There's also a lookup bar on the left. And so if I want to look up Melissa, I can go and type in part of Melissa's name and find all the Melissas and all the Melvins. There is universal search at the top right. And so I go up here, and if I look up coffee, you'll find everybody with the name coffee in the notes or in the histories or attachments or opportunities anywhere. And so if I just want to find coffee in a contact, I can select that, or maybe I want to find just coffee in notes and select that. So that's the universal search. You want to find coffee in contacts or notes, or you want to find coffee in notes or histories. See that? Kind of cool. Okay, so back to the contact view. You can also click from this drop down and choose, well, I really want to look up by company, and I want to look up every company that starts with CH or has CH, and there they all are. Anytime I do a lookup and it returns more than one record, then it's going to take you to this list here. So, if I return one unique record, like let's say I'm looking for, Finch Legal Aid, one record, then it drops you right to the contact view. More than one record, like CH Gourmet or CH Gifts, it takes you to the list view, and you can see them all there. Back in the detail view, I can also search by right-clicking on a field. Now, this is going to be true with the desktop client. The right-click is available on the desktop client. It's not available on the web client. So, for example, if I want to look up everyone from Alabama, right-click on the state field, look up state, type AL for Alabama, click OK, and we just had one. We want to find California, right-click, look up state, CA, there's California. Now, this type of lookup is kind of helpful. Let's say I'm trying to find everybody from California or New York or Texas. Well, I've looked up California. You see the California all the way down the list here. Let's say I go up here and I look up New York. Okay, right-click, look up, NY. Now, this icon right here, or this drop-down, replace lookup, you've got three choices here. Replace lookup, narrow lookup, add to lookup. So the first one we'll do replace lookup. Remember, we looked up California first, and now we're going to look up New York. So replace lookup says, I really don't care what I looked up last, just show me what I'm doing now. So instead of California, we're just doing New York, and now instead of California, we have New York all the way down. I could go back, and I'll right-click again, and right-click, state, California. This time I'm going to choose add to lookup. So that means I've got California to start with. I'm going to add to this lookup the people from, I'm sorry, I have New York to start with. I'm going to add to this lookup people from California. Click OK. And now I've got New York and California. I'll go one step further. I want to add to this lookup people from Texas. Lookup state, TX for Texas. Remember, we don't want replace. That would say forget what I did before. Just give me New York, or just give me Texas. Now I'm going to choose add to lookup. This will give me California, New York, and Texas. And if you look here, sorted by state, New York, California, or Texas. Now the reason I'm seeing my ID status in my state fields here is because I added them to the list view. So I can go to options on the right, choose customize columns, and I can choose any columns available from the left-hand side and written on the right-hand side. So, for example, I don't need both. I don't need the extension field. You see it's empty. I'm going to just double-click, send it back over. Maybe I want to put the ID status first in my list. I can move it up. And I don't care about the is user or the private contact. And so there you can see it there. Another nice thing about this contact list view is I've got a button for export to Excel if you wanted to. If you've got Excel on your machine, you can export that to Excel, or you can just work in it here. Remember, you can sort by your columns. It's a good way to do a little bit of data cleanup. In fact, one of the things I do, if you go to the options menu and choose customize columns, I'll usually add a field called create date. That tells me when the record was created. Now you can sort by most recently or most distantly created in the database. Okay, so another concept is the term of the advanced lookup. So we just did, well, I'm sorry, let me show you narrow lookup. So we have 65 people from either New York or California or Texas. Let's say of those 65, I want to find just those that are customers. Well, in that case, I keep customer in the ID status field. I'm going to right-click, choose lookup ID status, and I'll choose contains the word customer, and I'm going to narrow my lookup. Narrow lookup means take what I started with, the folks from New York or California or Texas, and narrow that and just show me the customers who are from one of those three states. So narrow starts with a lookup, narrows it to give you what you want. So now I have a lookup that have people that have customers in the ID status, and they're from New York or California or Texas. Another cool thing I can do with this, I can, again, right-click, look up, I can go straight to an advanced query. And so if I wanted to, I could build a query that I can use again. So for example, I might say that the state field equals to NY, add to list, state field equals to CA, add to list, state field equals to TX, add to list. So now my query, it says show me the fields that have ID status containing customer, and now I'll put a parenthesis here because I want to see either California or New York or Texas. So I'll put the parentheses around that. That'll make it deal with those guys first. And I'll change and to or. And you always want to preview this before you save it. And if I hit preview, you'll see the number of records that were returned. Oops. There we go. So 12. Now the nice thing about an advanced query is you can save it. So I'm going to hit the save button, and I'm going to call this my territory. Save as my territory. Hit OK. So now you can run it. Obviously that recreates my query, but you can go back. If you go back to look up advanced query, if you want to run it again later, you just hit the open box. There's my territory, and you can run that at any time. All right. Kind of another cool thing, if you would like, we'll talk about groups. So there's two types of groups. There's static groups, dynamic groups. A static group might be like a birthday party group. So everybody that came to the party is in the birthday party group. So for example, I'm going to start, if I go to the list view, and I'll just do look up all contacts, and I'm going to put this into tag mode. And I'm just going to select a bunch of these randomly. These are my birthday party people. Okay, once I tag them, I'm going to look up selected. Those are just the ones that I tagged. Then I can actually go and create a group from this by going to lookup, groups, save lookup as group, and I'm going to call this my birthday party. Once you do that, you click down here, add and remove contacts. You'll see that it's populated with static members. See, the top half of this is static, which means I stuck somebody in and they stay in until I take them out. So if you want to remove George Bailey from the group, you click there, you remove him, and he's out. But these folks stay in the list no matter what. The other type of group is going to be like this one called My Territory. And this is based upon a dynamic group. So I go to add or remove members, and you see here's the criteria. Now I could do that. I just go in and enter them manually, or I can go to my open box and look, here's my territory query that I made earlier. And so I can populate that based upon the saved query that I saved earlier. I can use that for a group criteria. So the nice thing about a dynamic group, here's Amanda. If she moves from New York to North Carolina, she's no longer in the group because her state doesn't equal California, New York, or Texas. So I go back to groups. She's gone. Go back to contacts. Put her back in New York. Go back to contacts here. Or back to groups, and she's back in there now. So doing lookups is a big part of ACT, and you've got to have them before you can do labels, mailing lists, envelopes, reports, mail merge, e-marketing, all of that stuff. So here's kind of the process. Let's say I wanted to send a letter to all of my customers, or print out mailing labels for all of my customers. Go back to Contacts View, right-click, go to Customers. Go to ID Status, right-click, look up Customers, and you've got you know, 66 of them. Now, if I want to do labels for these guys, it's just File and Print, and you'll choose your labels. Like, for example, the Avery 5160. Hit Print. And here's that choice again, current lookup, current contact, all lookups. So current lookup, and then you'll see the labels here. There we go. So there we go. There's our labels. All you've got to do is put label paper in the printer, and you're ready to go. If you want to do mail merge letters, same thing. Right menu, here's mail merge. One of the options is to choose, after you choose your template, again, here you can choose current contact, current lookup, or a particular group. Because we did our lookup first, now we can send out to that group. All right, so let's branch forward into kind of e-marketing. So first of all, you can do emails or email blasts from ACT. It just is a matter of configuring Outlook and then doing your mail merge, which is under the Tools menu and Mail Merge. Now, there's kind of some soft limits of a couple hundred emails. You really don't want to use this platform to send out thousands of emails for a few different reasons. Number one, you're going to have really some issues with getting flagged as a spammer or just resources on the computer if you try to send a bunch of emails. And so the suggestion is to start small and then inch your way up. But be sensitive to the fact that if you're sending a few hundred, you're probably going to set off some alarms with your email provider, and they could shut you down if you've been accused of spamming. So ACT is great for sending smaller numbers of email, and up to maybe 150, 200 emails. And then beyond that, we want to send an email marketing tool, for example, either SwiftPage or ACT eMarketing. Now here's the difference between the two. We used SwiftPage until just this past fall. They introduced a new one called ACT eMarketing, and that's the platform that they're building on. I don't expect to see any new improvements or features on ACT eMarketing, or I'm sorry, on SwiftPage. So if you're using SwiftPage now, you can keep using it. In fact, let me show you how to turn it on. So if you've got version 17, to turn it back on, if you've upgraded, I'm sorry, from 16.1 or higher, you're going to see an eMarketing button there. And the old tool under your right menu for SwiftPage eMarketing isn't going to be there. So here's how you turn it back on. You go to the Tools menu, and you go down to Manage Add-ons, and you'll see a way to turn that plug-on back on. And if you can click on that and restart ACT, then the SwiftPage marketing will still be there, and you can use that. There's some things that it does, but like I said, they are retiring that part of the product, and will use ACT eMarketing going forward. So that's really what I wanted to spend my time showing you today was the ACT eMarketing piece. Okay, so let me talk about how you get it or when you would need it. If you have Bronze Care, Gold, or Silver Care, you're going to get, I believe, a discount on your eMarketing of $15 per person for that, and then you can buy the level that you want to have or use. To access this, let me flip over and show you mine, but we've got an eMarketing button, and on here we've got send a campaign, get leads from my web forms, update my history, manage my account, manage sender profiles, or upgrade. So let me kind of flip over to my database. The first thing I'll show you is just my web forms. I can never find it, so. Well, maybe not. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Sorry, I couldn't find it. So if you have this active, this is how to use web forms in ACT. So here's a lead capture tab. And on the right-hand side, you can see the fields that you can capture. If I want to create one, I go to the Create button. And here you can see how it's going to look, basically, and when you preview it. And when you're ready to actually go and use it, over to the right-hand side, you would either get a link to the page, or here's code that you can build into it, and then you can actually set out and use it. So embed this into your web page, and then when users go out and use it, they can see your site. And see if I can pop in and show it to you. Hold on just a second. One moment. So while I'm waiting for that, when you want to go check the site, you just hit Go Get Leads, and it goes out and actually checks the web forms that you have. If anybody's filled that out, then you'll see data in there. I don't think I've done any because it's been a while on this one. But let me go to my page where I published one earlier. And I'm sorry, I'm going to punt on that for right now. Basically what you do, let me bring my WordPress site over here. So here's a WordPress site. I just called it test page. Basically what you do is you go inside of ACT, you hit the View HTML, and you can either get the link or you can get the code. And then back inside of the website, here under text, just kind of slap that in. Go back to visual. You see you can actually do some stuff with HTML there if you wanted to, but we won't. And update the page. And once that's done, you can go and view it. So anyway, there's my form, so I can go in and fill this out. And then you hit the button. Now what this does, though, is it's going to force you to go and validate yourself. So you'll have to get into your Gmail or wherever you sent it from and validate, which kind of makes sure we don't get any junk. And then after that, we're done. So mine seems to be a little bit delayed, so I'm not going to wait on that any further. But that's basically the process. And once you validated, you basically would go here and hit the Get Leads button, and your emails would flow into the database automatically, and then you can start to market with them after that. I don't think mine went. Okay, so let's talk about the e-marketing piece. And so we talked about how to do a lookup, and then basically to get in and to start do it, let me just kind of give you a real kind of a quick view of how to create a template. So I'm going to go to the e-marketing button, and you can go to send a campaign. And here you can choose who you're going to send it to. So you've got a choice of the current contact, the current lookup, all contacts. You know, be careful. I've got 11,000 records in my database, and if I try to send it all at once, I'll use up all my emails. The Swift page or the Act e-marketing is based upon the number of emails that you've subscribed to. And so if you send a campaign that's greater than the number of email outs that you have, it's gonna holler at you. You can do it to a group, you can do it to a company or an opportunity. So those are all choices. So I'll leave it on current contact for now. Count lets you choose, you know, how many you're sending it to. So if I were to go in and say all contacts and hit count, you know, it'll tell you what you got. And you know, so 8,000 of my records in ACT have email addresses, and so, you know, if I wanted to send it to all 8,000 of them, that lets me know that I have that. Alrighty. So next one is my send options, and so if I have a group plan or a team account, I can actually choose from somebody else on my team. And so if I wanted to send on the behalf of Robert or Grace or somebody, I can do that. If you want to change that, you hit manage, and that lets you go in, and here you can see you can add a place to add other users to your Act e-marketing account. Subject line, I can put in my subject. Welcome to our team, and then we go and we can either choose a template that's already there, like I had my Roadshow template from before. I can choose that, or I can go over and choose Edit. And when I choose Edit, this takes me to the website, which is going to pop up right down here. And it should come up here in just a second. There it goes. All right, so unknown error. It tells me, who knows. There's a couple ways to skin that cat, though. Sometimes, let me show you how I get around that if I get an error. You go to e-marketing and you go, for example, to manage my account. I think that should let me in. Let's try it again. So this is kind of the 1.0 version of the Act email program. I expect, well, in fact, I know they're going to have some new features when 17.1 comes out in about a month, and I expect them to keep doing additional new features as we're going with that. So unknown error, I don't know how to work with that. Let's try one more time. The reason I do it for Mac is I can't ever remember my password. So what this is not going to let me do is show you the editor. So I'm gonna, let's see if that pops up. But in the meantime, I'm going to skip back and show you the results page. So results page is over here. If I go to the e-marketing tab, yeah, so it's, their site must be down or not working properly right now. It just kicked me out again. But on the e-marketing tab, I can see my scores. Come on. Well, I believe, see, I'm getting the same problem I had before. It's something, it's either not liking my account or they're down right now. There we go. Okay, so here's where I get to my scores. And so what I see down the left-hand side here are different, see if it does again, different campaigns that I've sent out, the number of contacts. This isn't the total number of contacts that went. This is the folks that actually opened an email. One of the things that they're going to be doing at in newer releases is giving me the options to do lookups, to leave out. So, for example, here you see a couple of shows that I sent out that, or a couple of blasts that I sent out that were 0 contacts because I was just playing with it. You know, I don't want to look at that anymore, so I can delete that out in the newer version. Once you've done that, you know, so here I can look at my scores on the one I select on the left and view it on the right-hand side. So every time I try to connect on the right-hand side, I get this error. So I'm not really sure I'm going to be able to show you the template piece. Which is unfortunate. Alrighty. All right, I'm gonna punt on that. So something's obviously wrong with their system right now. So I'm not able to really show it to you much more. If I didn't, you know, wasn't doing this live, I probably would just go ahead and reboot my computer and try again. But we're just about out of time for that. So I hate to do it to you. I will do an e-marketing webinar once I get this fixed, but for right now, it seems to, you know, not be letting me show you the editor. It's not hard to do. The basic principles there is that we, you know, it's pretty much drag and drop. You can customize the look of your page, the colors of your page, the font of your page. You can copy a PDF file up and access it that way. This isn't going to go, so sorry about that. I'm just going to kill that. So it's, you know, this particular version of it. If you don't like messing with this part of it, my suggestion is to stay with the Swift page piece because it's still got a lot of good history to it. It's just I don't believe that they're going to continue to develop that. They've got an update for the Act e-marketing coming out sometime in the next month, and I expect some of the early bugs to kind of go away at that point. So also the reporting currently is a little bit light, and you know, like I said, with the newer version, that's going to get better. You know, just look for more and more on the Act e-marketing. They're going to continue to make that better. I don't expect them to do any further updates on the Swift page piece, but there you have it. So want to take a, if you've got a sure, let me go over with you group creation and use. I use groups to go through my day. So for example, let me show you one of mine here. The only one we use is this one called Tandem Internal. And so here you see I've got my sales processes. I've got everybody marked as hot. I've got prospect, lead, opportunities, open projects. So don't need that one. So for example, everybody that's marked as hot, I've got a field in my database called hot right here. And I just check it when you know, when I consider this to be a fairly important deal. And so this gives me a way to go and see everybody that's marked as hot in my database right off the bat. And then I've got one for times. And so, for example, if I want to see everybody when they were brought into the database. So here's my last 7, and here's what it looks like. You go to Add and Remove Contacts, and there's a criteria. The contacts create date within the last 7 days or created today shows up in the group. And so you'll see everybody there that I've added the last 7 days. Back to this view right here. Okay, so back to groups. Remember, there's 2 types of groups. There's static and dynamic. So to make a brand new group, we go to the Groups menu and choose New Group. You can do subgroups if you want. So what I typically do, if I've got a sales team of people, I might make, groups, new group, and I'm going to call this John's groups. And then below that, I might want to go in and kind of make a hierarchy. So right-click, new subgroup. I'll call this my prospects. And then I'm going to right-click, make another one, call this one my customers. Then I'm going to go and set my dynamic group criteria for this. So customers, I'm going to go to Add and Remove Contacts, Edit Criteria, and I'm going to say if the ID status contains customers, add to list. Preview. So, it's customer, sorry about that. Double click to make a change. Instead of customers, I want to say customer. There's my preview, 66 of them. Now I want to do one for prospects. So here's prospects, set the criteria, equals, ID status, contains prospects. And I probably want to do one more called, last 7 days. And this shows me the records that were created in the last 7 days. Right-click, new subgroup, call this one last 7 days. In this case, we'll say this is the create date within the last 7 days. Add to list. Preview. Nothing there right now, but watch what happens if we go to back to contact, contact, new contact, add old Billy Smithers here, save the record, go back to groups. There he is in the last 7 days. If we make him a prospect, back to groups, and now he's going to be in this one, and he's going to be in the prospects group, if he did it right. There you go. So that's how I use groups. And, that's basically what I do to data mine stuff. I'll go over my groups every day, usually look for stuff, basically we learned that I'm not going to cover companies and divisions. I'll basically talk about it real quick here. But I'll go through my groups. First thing I'll do is I'll basically, look through, what's most recent, what's most distant. I'll look by different values of different fields, but that's how I kind of keep things at the front of my brain. Companies and divisions, so inside of groups and companies are both built similarly, but we've got a different hierarchy for groups. And so, for example, if I have a group called CH or a company called CH Holding, I can have different divisions inside of that. Now, one of the things they don't do is they don't cascade up. So anything under CH Tech 1 sales, you're not going to see them here just because they're in a division. There's no cascading up. Think of them as almost separate companies. But the process of building them is exactly the same, except instead of seeing contacts and opportunities, you see contacts, opportunity, products, and opportunities here. And the other thing this does is allows me to use these hyperlinked companies. So if I go to Cecilia Carter, if you have a hyperlinked company, you can go and browse back and forth with that. All right, hope that was a quick overview for you. I appreciate you coming. We're going to do these, we do one or two a month for these, so you'll be on our list, and sure appreciate you coming. I appreciate you buying the act from us. But we do, like I said, we'll do more. For sure cover that e-marketing. Hopefully when the 17.1 comes out here, within about a month or so, we'll get up on the new features and show that to you as well. So thanks a lot for coming today. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Hey, what? I don't know how to do it.